where you step out to the side, and there are other smaller variations like the curtsy lunge and so forth, but for the sake of this video,
Lying on your back, the first exercise involves placing a ball between your ankles. Engage your core and keep your lower back on the ground as you squeeze your ankles together against the resistance of the ball. Hold this for 10 seconds and repeat this 10 times through, making sure you breathe and the knees bent. The ball this time is between your knees. Keep your core engaged once again and squeeze your knees together against the ball and hold for 10 sets of 10 seconds. The next progression is to take your feet off the floor and repeat the process with hips and knees both flexed at 90 degrees. The final progression is to combine this with an abdominal crunch and hold again for 10 times 10 seconds. As you work through this progression of exercises, be sure not to work on a cloth or a sock. You get the picture. Standing with most of your weight on one foot, slide the cloth out to the side as far as you can control as you drop into a lateral lunge position. From this outer position, try and pull your legs back together using your inner thighs as you stand up out of this lateral lunge. It's not easy.
With an exercise band secured around your knee and your foot flat on the floor, and the other end anchored to a fixed object to your side, move your bent leg, adduct, across your body.
On your legs, you could do these exercises every day, all day, but your legs will still never be toned. What you need to do is actually do some cardiovascular training and full leg strength training to define the entire leg. She also gets on a treadmill, she gets on a stair stepper, elliptical, a rower, a bicycle, and helps define for a second. These exercises that you're seeing right here, all of them are going to be more of the high repetition range, 15, 20, 25 reps. Again, there's nothing wrong with training your inner thighs. I actually strongly recommend it because a lot of people neglect to train your inner thigh properly. But if you're going for...
Lift the feet and then shift the feet one side, all in pain-free ranges. Some of the exercises that we use with our hip impingement patients, someone that has hip instability and weakness too. So the great one to use on the table, incorporating rotation, extension, flexion of his bottom leg, or doesn't use his bottom hip, so he lifts his hip up. Now it's all done to the top hip. He pulls with the inside of the thigh and lifts his body up into a side plank. Hold for 1, 2, slowly, eccentrically lower down. Up, and then down. So perfect little exercise. I can bias this leg into external rotation and have him try that same thing. Go ahead. Much more difficult, incorporating more stability, come down. I can have him put his foot flat, bias him slightly into internal rotation. So you can see that the exercises that we might use just for adductors and someone that has impingement syndrome
there, but I do a bent leg version, so I have my whole shin on top. I think that reduces some of the unnecessary lateral forces through the knee. So anyway, here's how to do it. Another video, I'll show you another way I apply it. So we come up and then squeeze at the same time, trying to keep the body fairly straight, leg down, hip down. So hip up, squeeze, leg down, hip down. That's the...
We start out with this one before if you're non-weight bearing. And what you want to do is try to, you bend the top leg while you're on your side, and you put it in line with your knee, and then you lift the bottom leg up toward the ceiling, so you're really working the inner thigh. As in most exercises, you want to keep your abdominal muscles engaged or tight so that your pelvis stays level. That's it. So
the feet are together, and you want to slowly put the legs together, to slowly horizontally abduct the legs. If I go hard and fast, I will use the big adductor magnus and so on. I do not want to do that. It's a very slow, controlled movement, and you will see that it feels heavy. At least if you haven't said, add a slight resistant abducting with my arms. And only by adding, I guess I'm adding a maximum 1 pound of weight per arm. still it's feeling much heavier to adduct to get the knees all the way together. So that is my exercise for the pectineus muscle. It is slightly diagonal, and in this position, guys, I will just slightly pull the ankles together. Don't jam them together because you're going to activate everything just like in the last video, but you gently pull them together, and what you're going to feel is that you will feel a very nice contraction in the upper part of the groin right at the pectineus.
Stand with legs apart, stability ball between the legs. Press the ball inward from both sides and release. The target muscles are the hip adductors and internal rotator.
And you're just tying everything together. What if you want to start gently making them stronger? I think a great way to do that is lateral crawling, especially when you exaggerate the reach on how far you're stepping. So as I am crawling to my left, this adductor is kind of pushing into the ground to allow me to bring this leg to me. So I reach again and activate it to pull two, and this one is pulling two, so this one's also gently, it's working. I mean, gravity's really helping, but it's working. Anyway, this is a great way to
these exercises that you can use to train your adductors properly and also safely.
I'm actually externally rotating and then internally rotating my legs, kind of like the
slight bend in the standing leg, just maybe a 5 degrees so it's soft, not locked off. This is our stretch leg. We're going to bend at the hips so you feel a stretch on your inner thigh.
Stretch, you kind of want to split your legs out like this. Okay, maintain a neutral spine and lean forward like that. You can hold on to something like a support, okay, like a machine or something, or a tree or pole, whatever. The most important.
Yeah, I get it. You know, it'll stretch the muscles, but I don't know that this really translates into the activity that you were doing it for in the first place, which is kind of like this and just relaxing and letting your legs dangle. And again, does that translate? And then you're just going to gently rock forward and backwards, trying to keep your back flat. And the stretch should be happening here. You should feel it on the inside of this leg. You shouldn't feel pinching anywhere. But I would just go 5.
From Upright Health, where we help you move beyond your limitations so you can live with confidence. Be sure to check out the description section for links to on top of the leg. And then I could even start changing upper body position so that the adductors, quads, and glutes all have to learn how to stabilize my body on that hip in different positions.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shuck, and these are some stretchers for the adductor longus. This muscle is responsible
stretch on one side. So if I'm rotating to the right, I'm going to further stretch on the left side. And then go ahead and switch sides.
Poking a really annoying bone into the floor. Anyway, put the ball up onto the bench, you put your leg up over, and then you allow yourself to relax into that. So this area is what we're going for. You're going to take the top leg here, I'm doing my left leg here, and you're going to get to know your kettlebell very well. You're going to put your leg up and over, so now the adductors are coming down into the handle of the kettlebell, and the weight of the leg is basically causing you a little bit of discomfort. You're going to be pushing, you're effectively pushing into some very dense and tight musculature, and you're just going to hang out here. You're going to look for spots that don't feel particularly with it. Something else you can do while you're in this position is to actually start practicing a little bit of internal rotation. So this helps.
Just have to differentiate between the adductor magnus and make.
Sponsored. It's sponsored by ABMP, and
I first lie on my stomach. With one knee bent, I place the ball at the top of my inner thigh. If you are angled
area, if you find a spot of tenderness, you can stop and hold pressure for 20 to 30 seconds. Once that 20 to 30 seconds, there's 2. That's perfect. That's our first pass. We have 2 passes, so we're going to do. There's 3. Last one here. There's 4, and again, you can set the hips down if you need. The leg's going to come up. 2 rotations of the hips, so we're going to rotate in, rotate out. There's 1.
Sinking in. Happy.
Now when palpating
just be aware, obviously, that you do have the femoral artery and the femoral vein that run through that area. So try not to sit with your leg just hanging for too long, because you probably will notice that the foot will start to twitch in time with your pulse. Obviously, that's the blood coming through, tied together, and just look to break down the adhesions, and also with the have an increased range.
Almost in this front part of the hip here. But at the same
This out for maybe 10 to 20 seconds each side. This to me is sort of optional, but if you like rolling out